hours. And after you've read deeply the Srimad Bhagavatam and chanted 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, you don't really feel like getting up and going doing a passionate day's work of something. You want to do more reading and chanting and reflecting and talking to people about Krishna. And suddenly, you know, somebody may come by and say, well, let's go and build this thing or do that thing. And you're going, nah, that's too much. It's too much work to waste of time. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather read and chant. I have enough. I don't need more food. I have enough. I have enough clothes. I can make do. If I could just have a little more time to read and chant and hear, then I can make do with my 4 outfits. You know, how many outfits do you need? So that's a symptom. As we move to the world of goodness, we start to think, yeah, how can I limit the work that I do in this material pursuit of my body and have more time for really nourishing my heart, which is the seat of our joy. Because we're really looking for happiness. That's what we're looking for. Everybody is looking for happiness. And we sometimes we think if I had more space, I would be more happy. If I had more clothes, I'd be more happy. If I'd have a fancier car, I'd be more happy. If I had a pretty girlfriend, I'd be happy. If I had 5 more children, I would be happy. If I could go and get a degree and I don't know what, something, I'd be happy. But the fact is, you don't get happiness from those things. It's the heart that is the seat of happiness. And by watering it, through hearing, chanting, and remembering, then we get that joy, and once we have that joy, everything else is not important. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yanisa sarabhutanam, tasyam jagarti samyami, yasyam jagarti bhutani, nanisha pasyato mune. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So if we study the lives of spiritualists in all traditions, not just the Hare Krishna movement, but you'll look into Christian mystics, you can look in the Hasidic Jewish tradition, the Muslim Sufi tradition and stuff, they're taking full advantage of these hours before dawn, because the hours before sunrise are the most powerful time to contemplate, pray, take advantage of spiritual absorption. And part of that is because there's no distraction, you know, it's kind of a dead zone. People are people around you, like if you live in the neighborhood, a lot of times there's loud music till midnight, or by 2 o'clock usually people are either drunk enough or tired enough they go to sleep, right? And they haven't yet got up to go to work. So the modes of passion are and ignorance a little bit subdued. But the hours before midnight and sunrise are a really special time because you can kind of feel it. It's very peaceful if you get up and you chant your rounds and you read or pray. And everybody knows that who is serious about spiritual life. Once they have tasted that nectar of that early morning time with the Supreme Being, it's something addicting almost. It's better than drugs. It's better than sex life. People can give up all of that just for those precious little moments. So Prabhupada, he took advantage of those moments. He did all his best work when everybody went to sleep. You know, he made sure that he was awake during those times, translating these wonderful books. And it wasn't just for us. Of course, every self-realized soul is trying to save others, but he relished having that time with Krishna, reading without distraction and translating. Because if you just read and you don't do anything with those books, it just goes like this. I can't remember anything. You have to actually chew on it, which is why giving class or, you know, writing notes or doing something with it, writing a blog post or something helps you remember it. If you don't do anything with it, it's really hard to remember. So Prabhupada that was his sadhana, to do these books. It was an instruction by his guru, but it was also his highest ecstasy, you know, to connect with Krishna in this deep meditation. So Narada, in this verse, he's making the point that because each one of us are controlled by all these forces of time, celestial nature, it's not possible to take care of anybody else or protect them. We think we can, and we try a lot, especially as parents. We try very hard to protect our children, to protect our spouses, to protect our living situation. But in fact, it's only we are under the power of the Supreme Being and all the demigods and all the controlling deities that organize our eyes and our nose and our ability to smell and breathe. On my way here, I was driving down from Malaji's cabin to come here this morning, and I have a tape player that's always playing in my car. And Prabhupada was just at that moment telling that even the twinkling of your eye, you have no control over. There is a special deity that controls your ability to blink your eyes. So what to speak of thinking that we have any control over anyone else or ability to protect? In fact, Prabhupada said that as long as we think that we're independent, we are going to be bound up. And the only freedom we have is to fully surrender to being controlled by Krishna. And when we do that, then we experience true freedom. We have that shelter, we have that protection. So, sometimes we find ourselves in conflict with other people. We have a tension, we're fighting with someone or we disagree with someone. And Prabhupada says those are actually not us, because we are full of bliss and knowledge. It's the modes of nature that are conflicting. So you might be in the mode of ignorance, and I'm in the mode of passion, and we have different perspectives, but it's not even our perspectives. It's the perspective coming from the mode of passion and ignorance. And as we arise to the mode of goodness, then we can start to see how we are like one another, and we're different, and that's okay. So I'm aware of the time, and there's so much to say about this, but I want to leave some moments to ask questions. I'm aware that some of you were in my class yesterday. We got into a very deep discussion about life and relationships, and I was asking your class today to give a space for more discussion if there is some. So any questions or comments? And if you have none, what's your reflection or takeaway today? Anybody? Okay.
Thank you again. My biggest takeaway is from this class is how you said that Srila Prabhupada took the instruction of his spiritual master as a sadhana. And does that mean then that everyone, like how do we choose, like Srila Prabhupada gave so many instructions, so how does one choose like a particular instruction to become his life and soul? I mean, every guru has many instructions, it seems.
What was Prabhupada's main instruction that unified all the other instructions? What was that? I'm sure you know the answer. Tell us what it is. Somebody, you guys. Chant Hare Krishna. What else?
Print books.
Print books. What else? Translation? Read the books. Yeah, read the books. What else did Prabhupada say?
Connect to the Supreme Lord.
Connect with the Supreme Lord. What else?
Spread Krishna consciousness to the West.
In the West, and also wherever you are. So, Desha Kalapatra, that's an important thing. And when you're deciding, okay, what does Prabhupada want me to do? Well, where am I? What capacity do I have? What gifts do I have? What energy have I got? What skills do I have that I can start right here? It's not like, oh, I need to give up everything and go over there and do it. You give up all of this. That's not the idea. Prabhupada gave a formula that you can become self-realized or begin your journey right where you are. So you have to start with you. What have I got in my toolbox? Like I play this harp. I hear all the time, Prabhupada wanted kirtan to be done with mridanga and kartals. We do harmoniums, which is kind of a Muslim instrument, but we do that with bhajans and that. I play this harp. harp, it's kind of weird, right? We come to Hare Krishna and play a harp. But I have this ability to play a harp. I used it in my chaplaincy. I used it for bedside people dying. I don't know what to do with it if I don't use it for Krishna. I don't know what else to do with it. I could say, okay, I reject it. It's useless. Nobody appreciates. But what I've experienced is people become inspired, and it inspires their Krishna consciousness. So I'm using it until people say you can't use it. Same thing with my chaplain training. You know, I spent 16 years doing all this to be able to make a living and to also connect my spiritual path. But now as I retire, it's like, okay, why waste your time doing that? Just read the books, chant. But there's a gift there. There's something I've done. And if I don't share it or use it for Krishna consciousness, then it's a waste. You've just thrown out something. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's really about adding Krishna to whatever you're doing. That's the instruction.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We go girl, boy, we could do that too. Yeah. Did you have a question? Now the mic's over there. Go ahead with this and we'll then do, because otherwise he's running around.
Thank you for the nice class. For some reflection on this particular verse and the context in which it's being spoken. It's spoken by an extremely powerful sage, Narada Muni.
Yeah.
And he's speaking to Maharaj Yudhishthira, who is the emperor of the entire world. And by his personal strength, by the strength of his brothers, and by the military strength, he was able to conquer all the kings in the entire planet.
Yeah.
And now this great sage, Narada Muni, is telling this extraordinarily powerful king, says, you can't protect somebody else because you yourself, your body, is under the control of Kala, Karma, Gunadino. The first line of today's verse.
Yeah.
Time, action, and the modes of material nature. So what to speak of us? You know, if the most powerful person in the world at the time, Maharaj Yudhishthira, cannot even protect his relative with all of his wealth, with all of his power, with everything under his command and control, what to speak of us? You know, we have very limited power, we have very, very limited wealth, and yet we want to protect our children, we want to protect our elderly parents, but we're all under the control of material nature. But time, karma, and work, actions, completely under the control. And you know, it's nice to contemplate that. What is our actual position? We're just being forced by gunadino, by the laws of material nature, and by time, and by the reactions to our past activities. So really our only hope lies in devotional service to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
And when we actually engage in His service, then the effects of time are removed. The effects of our past karma are removed from us. And the effects of the gunadino, the modes of material nature, they're removed by Krishna. And we get His supreme grace. So without that service and taking shelter of Krishna, there's nothing we can do to protect anyone else or even our own self. Our only course of salvation is to engage in service of the Lord. And that is just a really important message contained in today's verse.
Thank you. You had a question or a comment. Did you raise your hand? Oh, I thought you did before you did, but go for it.
So what should we do? Should we stop doing what we are
Exactly.
doing?
That was exactly what I was thinking. That would make his comment beg the question. Do we now just give everything up? I think yeah, right. And that would be an artificial thing to do because we're not mature enough to do that. You can't. Prabhupada used to say, "Don't jump over like a monkey." You can't pretend. We have attachments. We have responsibilities, right? So you begin with where you are. What can you do in addition to what you're doing? Can you particularly engage in the most important 5 things, which is to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, come and to holy places like New Vrindaban. And there's a 5th one, I can't remember it is, whatever that is. What? Deity worship, yeah. So you can, in the comfort of your home, you can worship the deity, you can chant, you can read with your family. And when you'll see, time will eventually, it's not sustainable, your family. Eventually the kids grow up. They go away. See you later, Dad, thanks for all the help. And they come back when they have grandchildren because they want you to babysit. That's kind of what happens. That's my experience. Like, yeah, we don't need you. We got this. And then, whoa, my God, when they have their kids, oh, Mommy, where are we? Come and help, come help. And then, but even marriage, both husband and wife don't usually die at the same time. Somebody gets diseased. Somebody becomes invalid. One has to take care of the other, or one dies, and things shift. So time is moving us very quickly towards these ends. And if you are firmly accompanying all of those stages in life with hearing, chanting, remembering, and these 5 things, then Krishna will show you how, he will guide you naturally at the right time. Prabhupada himself, he didn't take sannyas till so late, and he didn't want to take sannyas. He didn't even imagine that he would ever do that, because he was a householder. He was a businessman. He did all that stuff. Arjuna he was a householder, he wasn't a renunciant. He was busy in the world, and he was offering results to Krishna. So, a good question. I'm glad you asked that, because it makes you anxious. You think, oh God, well, you're telling me that surrender to Krishna means I gotta leave everything. No, you leave your attachment, your ego, and offer to Krishna. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, well, this is my house. No, this is your house, Krishna. This is your family. Let me engage all of it in your service. So thank you. Haribol. We have a few more minutes if there's a question or a reflection.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned that when there's conflict with another person, that it's the 3 modes that are acting. So the question that I have is, when we are involved in a conflict, how can we take a moment to stop and recognize this, address this, and handle the situation in a humble and grateful way?
That's a really good question too, because when you're in the mode of passion and ignorance, you can't see things as they are. And so you don't really know what to do. And then people are like, I don't know what to do. There's all these things I can't decide. The first step is to get yourself firmly situated in the mode of goodness, which is before you start trying to fix things, get yourself fixed by aligning yourself with Krishna through hearing. It's the same process, chant more, absorb yourself, go to Krishna first. And often, when you think something needs to be fixed and you reflect and you have your mind focused on super soul, those in your heart, the Lord from within your heart will guide you perfectly what needs to be done and what needs to be said. But we are independent. We want to impulsively try to do and say and be, but first we have to take permission from Super Soul as our guide. And he's right there, like on Arjuna's chariot. He will tell us, oh, this is the right thing. We need to ask also, Krishna, guide me. I don't know what to do. Please help me. And he will help. But we have to take the first step to invite him. Please help me. That's that nasty 4-letter word, We have so many 4-letter words in the English language. H-E-L-P. Help. We need help. We can't do this by ourselves. And it works every time that as soon as we're in a bind, our back is against the wall, the life is falling apart, if we just cry out to the Supreme Lord, help me. I don't know what to do. Things shift immediately. I've seen it in the hospital again and again with people like are homeless, and the doctors are saying, yeah, you didn't have any health insurance. That's as much as we can do. Now we're going to discharge you back on the street tomorrow. And I'm a chaplain, so they're like, what do I do? I don't have any place to go. My knee is broken. I can't walk. I don't know what to do. And I encourage them, just first of all, I can't tell them, chant Hare Krishna. I can't do that in a public hospital. But I can say, my experience of the universe, it's benevolent. And there's something out there, some personality out there, when we cry for help, responds to us. And things do change very quickly. So that's the first thing I would say. should keep it, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. And what is your name, so I can tell the people when they criticize, I'll say, oh, he said.
My name is Dipesh.
Deepesh. Well, I would say Deepesh, so I should keep it. So I say Deepesh. Yes.
I'll echo that. I think it was a very beautiful
So
experience.
kind of sweet, right? The harp has always been used for healing, and there's something with Hare Krishna and the chakras opening, with relaxing a little bit. Sometimes we need that. Yeah?
I just want to expand a little bit to the previous gentleman's questions that we need to protect and provide. It's part of our duty when we have family.
As far as we can.
As far as we can. That's our responsibility. However, we need to understand that ultimately Krishna is the one who provides and protects. But that doesn't mean we don't do it if we have families or we are in the position when it's part of our responsibility to do it.
Right.
But we need to always keep in mind who ultimately.
And that's a good point too. Sometimes you're anxious. I mean, where's the next payment of your mortgage or rent coming from? There's anxiety around struggle for sense of existence. And I have a son and daughter-in-law who live in the ashram in New Dwarka in Los Angeles, and they have very little income. They have 2 children, and the wife doesn't work. In America, it's very popular. You have 2-parent family workers. And then there's nobody at home, the wife working, she's not working, and they're depending on my son's very little. He's a substitute teacher because he'd rather do Harinam than work full time, And I have noticed since they've been married for 7 years that everything she has needed and even wanted, frivolous things, like gizmos and tables and furniture or whatever, has come practically right to her door. She stumbles over it on the street, somebody's thrown it out, she picks it up, brings it home, it's just what she was looking for. Or when she had her first baby, people just drop off clothes. They just kind of drop off of clothes, they drop off brand, they drop off like, I just have to think about it. And her main service is doing garlands for the deities and making cookies for the restaurant. That's her main thing. And she will get up at 2 in the morning so that she gets all that done before the children wake up. And it's mystical to me that this woman, even the name that she got for her spiritual master, she actually desired that name, and somehow or other got the name that she desired. So that's her name. She was, I think, her name is Tulsi Gopi. But there's a story behind that. When she started coming to the temple, she fell in love with Tulsi. Some people have the love of plants, and it's a sacred plant. She always, before she was initiated, fight to do that Tulsi puja. And when she was getting ready to be initiated, she kind of remarked to somebody, neighbor in the neighborhood, oh, I'd love to have a name that was somehow related to Tulsi. Well, that neighbor went to the wife of her guru and said, she'd like to have a name, and of course everybody said, you shouldn't pick your name for initiation, that's not right. But they gave her the name Tulsi Gopi, and I thought, my goodness, she even got that, So sometimes Krishna is so merciful. And so we shouldn't be in anxiety. I know you're not alone in your endeavor to provide for your family. Krishna has your back. If you take care of Krishna, he's taking care of you too. Yeah, he loves you. All right, it's time for breakfast. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.